Guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Mr. G's Idiot's Guide to Composing and Arranging. I've been teaching now for 32 years or more, and it's time to pass on everything I've learned to a wider audience. So we're going to start simple. I do most of my composing and arranging using Sibelius, so I'm going to teach you how to get the most out of Sibelius. When you open up Sibelius, you'll first of all see this little window. Let's make that full screen. And today we're going to start very simple. We're going to just choose a treble clef staff like that, and there we are. Now we can get into time signatures, key signatures, but we'll save that for a later lesson. So we're just going to click on create here, and that should give us, again, we'll make it go full screen, a piece of virtual manuscript paper. The next most important thing to learn is the function of the keypad down here, which again you can drag around, which is quite cool, because this will enable us to choose the note values and various other things that we'll get onto later. I tend to, in my classroom, use mouse input, but in a later lesson I'll show you how to input notes with a keyboard. But we're going to start very simple by just clicking on a crotchet, or for our American viewers, a quarter note, and we can choose where we want to put it. We'll just put it on that G line, and we'll just, for starters, put 4 of those in like that. Now this is really important, and often my students over the years, this is where they immediately go wrong. You must tap escape, okay, because otherwise if the arrow is still blue, whatever you click on, it will start putting in random notes, which you really don't want to do. So we've got ourselves 4 crotchets here now, and we are going to listen to that back. Now let's go up to play menu, and you can hear that. Now if you're going to write a little tune, it's going to be pretty boring if it's only on the same note. So one of the first little things I'm going to show you is how you can change the pitch of the notes. Now there's a couple of ways of doing this. You can just drag them up or down like that, fairly straightforward, or you can use the up and down arrows on your keyboard, whatever you like. So let's just create a little bit of a shape there. Let's play that again. Oops, go back to the beginning. Click on there, play. No, don't want to do that. Better do that. I'll show you a little shortcut that stops all that malarkey in a minute. Nice. That sounds quite familiar, doesn't it? Sounds like a little nursery rhyme. Now, you can carry on putting notes in. Click, put notes in. Or if you decide, if you're writing in a little tune and you decide, you know what, I'm going to repeat that bar. There's a dead easy way of doing it. You just click within this bar, but not on the notes, and you'll see a little blue rectangle appears around it. Now, once you've done that, if I'm using a MacBook Pro here, so some of the commands might be slightly different on a PC, but you'll get the gist of it. Hold down Alt and click at the beginning of the bar, and then always tap escape, and then we've got a repeat of that bar. So let's have a listen. Now I told you earlier about a little shortcut. Rather than keep playing around up here, if you just press P for play, it will just play it from the beginning. And then tap on the space bar to stop. So there we've got our first 2 bars. We might see it's sounding very much like Frere Jacques, this, so we'll just finish it off. Now, double tap escape always. We've got a bit of a gap here, so this gives us the opportunity to look at another function of the keypad up here, which is to change note value. So whenever a note's blue, you can actually change its value. So we could change that to a minim or half note, like that. And again, if we click somewhere in the middle of the bar, we can press Alt down and click, and we've copied. So let's have a listen to the first phrase now of this well-known nursery rhyme. P for play. Nice. So let's tap on spacebar. Okay, so often with my students, what I will do next is to get stuck in straight away into creating more parts, which always makes your compositions, however simple they are, to start to sound quite professional. So if we go up to home menu up the top here, click on home, and there's a little icon, little trumpet icon here, which says add or remove. If we click that, it opens up this other window, and there's a multitude of instruments we can add, but we'll keep it simple and we'll go for a nice cello. That's the posh word for cello, but we click on it here. Now this is really important. It will not add it to the score until you click add to score. Okay, now another little thing here, I do not like having my second parts above my first, so what you do is you click on it here and you move it down. Now when I click OK, there is our cello part has just appeared. Okay, now it's a good idea to learn your bass clef over time, but we're not too worried about that at the moment. I need to tap escape. We're just going to put in some notes that will go with that, maybe some G's, because the first note's G there, so G down here. Oh, nice cello. Now another little shortcut on Sibelius, if you want to repeat a note, you just tap R on your computer keyboard and you can keep tapping it as long as you like. Alright, always tap escape at the end. Okay, now let's have a listen to this, play it back. And tap escape. Yeah, not bad. I mean, you can fiddle around with that. I might decide to change a few note values here and there to a minimum. Something like that. Make it a bit more interesting. Now, one other little thing you can do, you might decide, well, that cello is a bit low down there. I want to put it all up the octave. So you can do that dead easy. So if you click on the bar as if you're going to copy it, okay, then hold down the shift arrow on MacBook, hold it down and click at the end of that, and you notice that it creates a longer rectangle all the way around that part. Now this is the cool bit. If you hold down Command on MacBook, it's probably Control on PC, and just tap the up arrow once, it sticks it up the octave. So if you want it to come down, you tap the down arrow with Command held down, and so on. Okay, so let's have a listen to that. Do we like that any better? Right, alright, so that's quite good. Now, let's just say you've done that, that's the first thing you've done, you're really proud of that, and you don't want to lose it, you want to do some work on it next time, because you can do something else in a minute. You go to File, and you go to Save As. Now, we'll give it a little name, we'll call it Lesson 1, just for the sake of argument, and you'll notice that Sibelius creates a little folder for you called scores, so you can always find what you've done. So as long as you've given it a name, you don't call all of your pieces Untitled or silly, non-names, you'll be able to find what you've done. So you click on Save, and then the next time, the next lesson, when you come to it, you can click on Open. Okay, so really that is the first few things I want to show you, and the best thing you can do now is to open up Sibelius on your own equipment and start experimenting. I would maybe have this YouTube clip going on your phone so you can follow the instructions and stop it at any time when you just want to try something out. So if you've enjoyed this first little lesson, please click on subscribe and also the bell symbol next to it so you'll get notified about when the next lesson is about to start. So thanks very much for listening. This is Mr. G's Idiot's Guide to Composing and Arranging. Bye for now.